Run with endurance the race that is set before us.
I crossed the finish line and I was about a block and a half ahead of the finish line. I remember hearing a big bang. So I turned around and was like, that is wrong.
Good afternoon, I'm George Stephanopoulos in New York. We're interrupting your program because there have been 2 explosions today at the Boston Marathon. 2 explosions near the finish line.
So I ran the race that day. I was home in the hot tub at the local athletic club when someone ran in and told me the bombs went off. And so I had to hop in the shower and get myself into work. Riding to the scene, which was only 15 minutes from my house, and seeing the fright and the fear in people's faces, I knew, that this was the real thing.
Well, we don't know exactly who did this, and are still searching for leads on who to blame.
And so that was my responsibility, to run the 2,200 offices of the police department to try to find out who blew up our marathon. On Wednesday, we looked at photos of the potential bombers up at the FBI headquarters, and we were starting to focus on those 2 individuals. And also at that time, we had heard that President Obama was coming to town with his wife. So I had to put together that visit.
It was a beautiful day to be in Boston. And then, in an instant, the day's beauty was shattered.
At 4 o'clock that day, wheels were up. He was on his way back to Washington. At about 5:36, we put out the 2 photos of the individuals we thought blew up our marathon. And later that night, as you know, they hijacked a vehicle in Cambridge, which is very close to Boston. And Watertown Police, which is right adjacent, they began the pursuit.
So they toned it out 468 any other car in the area. We had a carjacking earlier. The vehicle, we're now tracking the vehicle, and it is at 89 Dexter Ave, stopped at 89 Dexter Ave, Watertown. They have their stolen vehicle, and they have their vehicle that they had earlier in the night. What they were doing is, the guy that they carjacked, they were going to kill him. They were going to go on the highway and kill him, and then have the clean vehicle. No one would know this guy's car was stolen, but he escaped from the car.
Tell me what happened. Somebody took your car?
Yes.
And what happened when they took their car?
They say that they are they did the explosion, marathon explosion.
They knew the car was hot, and they knew they couldn't stay in it, so they were trying to get back to their car, So we caught them switching cars, basically. And I pull up behind Reynolds. I said, Joey, I'm right behind you. Light him up. You mean shoot him? Just shoot him? I said, no, light him up. You turn your blue lights on, and let's pull this car over and figure out what's going on. He takes a left-hand turn onto Laurel Street off Dexter, following the Mercedes. And I come around the car to complete chaos. My office is being shot at. One of the suspects is out of the car in a full shooting stance, just shooting right into the windshield of one of the Officer Reynolds' car. And all of a sudden, you see, it looked like a guy threw. I'm like, it sounded looked like a stick. He threw a big stick through the air, and then boom. And then I'm like, holy shit, those are pipe bombs they're throwing. I thought it was like a big log. At the end of the gunfight, I'm out of ammunition. The brother gets in a close battle with Sergeant Jeff Pugley. They were like 10 feet away from each other, shooting at each other. And then the kid runs out of ammunition, and he starts running towards me. Now I'm standing in the middle of the street. I got a gun trained on him, but it's totally empty. He gets up to me, and Pugley puts his hand on his shoulder, grabs his shoulder just to kind of spin him around. As soon as he touched him, he collapsed. So we got him down on the ground. We get on top of him, and I yelled to Pugley. I said, Sarge, you got the bombs. Get off him. Let's just cover him. Get off him. And he goes, no, we gotta cuff him. And I was just so scared that this kid was trying to get as many cops on top of him as possible and then blow himself up, die. And I was like 99% sure I was going to die.
By the time I got to Watertown, one of the brothers was dead. He was run over by his brother in a shootout. We searched the area. We abandoned all the houses in the area because we knew we still had one suspect on the loose. And then at 5:30 that night, you know, the mayor and the governor had put a stay-in-place order for Boston and Watertown, and nobody was out. So the only ones who were out were the police search. After an extensive search, they released the stay-in-place order. And all the cops, all the law enforcement were heading home when someone ran up to me and they said, Superintendent, because I was a superintendent, we think there are guys in the boat behind 67 Franklin Street. When we pulled up, the owner ran up, told us what he had, and we literally walked down the aisle, down the alley of the house, and there was the boat. And I looked up, and there was the individual poking at the heat sail of the boat. And so we knew we had him in the boat at that point. But we had the whole area settled down and surrounded, as you know. Then one shot got fired, and probably by one of the police officers. Then all shots were fired, and I'm screaming for everyone to hold their fire, both in the police radio and vocally screaming. And I was able to get everyone to stop firing at the boat. And that's when it settled down. And that's when I worked with the FBI hostage recovery team. The leader of the team came up to me and said, "Are you the officer, incident commander?" I said, "Yes, I am." He said, "Every decision we make is going to be run by you." We threw smoke grenades in the boat first. It didn't work. Smoke bombs, you know, smoke grenades and flashbangs, they didn't work. And then he said, "We're going to negotiate now." And he went down, and that's when we got the guy to sit up, and we were able to take him into custody. But all I ever remember is how relieved I was that we got the people responsible. And as a police officer, I never had such a nice feeling. It's almost like we just won the war. And being a marathoner, being a resident of the city my whole life, you know, I took it personal.
This is our city. And nobody gonna dictate our freedom. Stay strong. Thank you.
I've kind of thought about the saying, Boston strong before. As cliche as it may sound, I kind of thought of like a torn muscle. And how, you know, when you first tear it, it can be extremely painful. And then when it rebuilds, it's stronger than it was before.
Just to see how a tragedy can pull people together and show the best of people, to me, that's what Boston Strong is, that in times of great difficulty, how a city can rally behind those who have been impacted the most. And, you know, it just gives you goosebumps.
I think Boston did great. You know, I think we all did great coming together and telling these people, people going right back and having more people there the next year. No one shrunk down. No one was scared.
Ladies and gentlemen, Patrick Downs crossing the finish line of the Boston Marathon to the cheers and applause of this crowd. And there is his wife, Jess, hugging him at the finish line.